Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. A successful businessman named Ethan Walker was used to getting what he wanted. But there was one thing he couldn't buy, a second chance at love. He had lost his one true love, Rachel, years ago, and the pain of that loss still lingered. On a cold winter evening in Boston, fate intervened when he saw a woman sitting on a sidewalk begging with two young boys. He approached cautiously, half expecting to be ignored. But when he learned the woman's name was Rachel, and that she was abandoned during pregnancy, he couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. Could this be the same Rachel from his past? And if so, how did she end up in this situation?
What would he do next?
Ethan's heart pounded as he knelt down in front of them. "I'm here to help," he said, extending a hand towards the woman. She looked up, her eyes filled with a mixture of suspicion and desperation. Her name was Rachel, she told him, and these were her twin sons, Jacob and Josh. They had been living on the streets for years, ever since she was abandoned by her boyfriend right before giving birth. With no one else to turn to, she had no choice but to beg for money to support herself and her children. As Ethan listened to their story, he felt a surge of sympathy. He couldn't bear the sight of the children as dirty and torn clothes, or the way Rachel's face was etched with worry. Looking at them, he thought of his own life of privilege, and wondered why he hadn't noticed their plight earlier. Was he truly a kind-hearted man? Or was he just indifferent to the suffering of others? The thought troubled him, but he knew he had to focus on helping Rachel and her sons first. He started by offering them some money to buy basic necessities like food and clothes. But as the days passed, he realized that wasn't enough. He needed to do more to make a real difference in their lives, so he invited them to stay at his mansion. At first, Rachel was hesitant, fearing that Ethan might exploit her or take the children away from her. But seeing the genuine concern in his eyes, she eventually agreed. When they arrived at the mansion, Jacob and Josh were amazed by what they saw. It was huge, with towering walls and sparkling windows that seemed to twinkle like stars. Inside, it was even more impressive, with luxurious furniture, paintings, and sculptures adorning the walls. But what impressed Rachel the most was Ethan's kindness. He treated her and her sons with respect, making sure they felt welcome and comfortable in his home. Over the next few weeks, Ethan provided them with new clothes, food, and everything else they needed. He also helped them enroll in local schools and introduced them to his personal physician, who offered free checkups and medication whenever necessary. Watching her sons laugh and play for the first time in years brought a smile to Rachel's face. She had never known such luxury or comfort, let alone for her and her sons. She couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude towards Ethan, but as time went on, she became aware of the growing feeling she had for him. It was a complicated mix of emotions, considering that they had never dated before, yet she felt an undeniable connection with him. She knew she had to be careful and not let her feelings get in the way of their unusual friendship. Meanwhile, Ethan was also struggling with his emotions. He found himself falling in love with Rachel all over again, despite never having had a romantic relationship with her before. It was as if their connection was predestined, and he couldn't deny the chemistry between them any longer. However, he knew that Rachel was going through a lot, and he didn't want to complicate things further by revealing his feelings. Instead, he focused on providing for her and her sons, hoping that one day she would reciprocate his love. One evening, while cooking dinner together, Ethan decided it was time to talk to Rachel about his feelings. It had been months since he had taken her and her sons in, and he could no longer keep pretending that nothing was happening between them. As they ate dinner, Ethan began to open up to Rachel, sharing his admiration for her strength and resilience in the face of adversity. He told her how much he had fallen in love with her and asked her if she could feel the same. Rachel was shocked by Ethan's confession. She had been struggling with her feelings for him, but she never expected him to reveal his love for her so openly. She appreciated his kindness and support, but she wasn't sure if she was ready to move on and start a relationship with him. Feeling the weight of her silence, Ethan gave her time to think about it. He didn't want to pressure her into anything, and he respected whatever decision she made. In the following days, Ethan tried to be as supportive as possible. He knew that Rachel needed time to process her feelings, and he didn't want to make things awkward between them. He continued to be kind and attentive, hoping that she would come to love him back. As the weeks turned into months, Rachel slowly began to open up to Ethan. She started spending more time with him, sharing her thoughts and feelings. She had never felt so comfortable with anyone before, and she realized that she had developed deep feelings for him as well. She had been through so much in her life, and Ethan had been a constant source of support and love for her. One day, while walking in the park with Ethan and the boys, Rachel realized that she had made the right decision by trusting him. She had found a loving partner who accepted her and her sons for who they were. Looking at Ethan, she knew that she had found the man she was supposed to be with. Later that week, Rachel and Ethan had a heartfelt conversation in which they expressed their love for each other and decided to start a romantic relationship. It was a moment filled with joy and hope as they embraced the future together. From that day on, Rachel and Ethan's love grew stronger. They faced any challenges that came their way as a team, supporting each other through thick and thin. Their bond became unbreakable, and their love story became a beacon of hope for those around them. Meanwhile, Jacob and Josh thrived in their new environment. They excelled in school and were active in sports and extracurricular activities.
Nice.
They had never had such opportunities before, and they were determined to make the most of them. As the years passed, Rachel and Ethan's relationship deepened. They faced various challenges, including financial struggles, family issues, and health problems. But through it all, their love remained steadfast. They learned to communicate effectively, compromise, and forgive each other. They also sought professional help to address any underlying emotional issues that were affecting their relationship. Moreover, Rachel and Ethan were committed to giving back to the community. They volunteered at local charities, supported environmental causes, and advocated for policies that promoted equality and justice. They believed in using their privilege and resources to make a positive impact on the world. Looking back on her journey, Rachel felt grateful for the challenges she had faced. She had endured homelessness, poverty, and abandonment, but she had emerged stronger and more resilient. She had found a loving partner, a beautiful family, and a sense of purpose. On the other hand, Ethan had learned the importance of empathy, compassion, and social responsibility. He had been blessed with wealth and privilege, but he had neglected the needs of those less fortunate. He had found a soulmate in Rachel, and he was inspired by her strength and determination. Together, Rachel and Ethan continued to build their lives in Boston. They raised their sons with love and care, instilling in them values of kindness, empathy, and integrity. They celebrated their achievements, supported them through their challenges, and encouraged them to pursue their dreams. As the boys grew older, they too found love and happiness. Jacob found a girlfriend in high school, while Josh developed a passion for music. Ethan and Rachel were overjoyed to see their sons becoming well-rounded young men. In the quiet moments, Rachel and Ethan often reflected on their journey as a couple. They had met under difficult circumstances, but their love had endured. They had faced homelessness, poverty, and abandonment, but they had emerged stronger and more resilient. They had found a loving partner, a beautiful family, and a sense of purpose. One evening, as they sat on the porch swing watching the sunset, Rachel turned to Ethan and whispered, "I love you." Ethan smiled and replied, "And I love you more." In that moment, they knew that their love story was far from over. It had only just begun.